Food doesn't have one price. It has 12, one for every month of the year, and the store is counting on you shopping the month you're standing in instead of the month that's coming. Right now, at the end of July, about a dozen things in that store are the cheapest they will be all year, not on sale. Cheapest. And in 4 weeks, quietly, with no announcement and no sign in the window, most of them start climbing. By November, you'll be paying double for the exact same food out of the exact same bag, and you will never know it happened, because nobody puts a sign up when the price goes up. They only put a sign up when it comes down. So today, I'm giving you 10 things to get into your house before this month closes out. Number 3 is something you already own. It's sitting in your cabinet right now, and it costs about a third more in October than it does this afternoon. And stick with me for number 1, because it is the most boring item on this entire list. It's the one that saves the most money of anything I'm going to say today. And I'm going to do the arithmetic out loud so you can see it for yourself. Hi, I'm Marnie Doyle. I raised 3 kids on one income, and 20 years of that taught me one thing. Most of what you pay for at that store is work you could do yourself in about a minute. But underneath that, there's a second thing, and it took me a lot longer to figure out. Half of what you pay is just timing. Same food, same bag, same brand, different month. And the difference between the two prices goes straight into somebody's pocket, and it was never going to be yours unless you knew to move first. That's what today is. Let's go. Number 10, stone fruit. Peaches, plums, nectarines, apricots. Anything with a pit in the middle. Right now, they're $1, maybe $1.50 a pound, and here's the part that matters. They actually taste like something. Come January, that same peach is $4 a pound, it's hard as a cue ball, and it flew here from the other side of the world in a refrigerated box. It got picked green so it would survive the trip. That is not the same fruit. That's the memory of a fruit. So buy more than you can eat this week. A lot more. Slice them off the pit, lay the slices flat on a sheet pan so they're not touching. Freeze the pan for a few hours, then dump the whole thing into a bag. That's it. That's the entire method. Freezing them flat first is what keeps them from fusing into one giant peach boulder, and it costs you nothing but a little counter space. Come February, you'll pull out a handful for oatmeal or a cobbler, and they'll still taste like the end of July. And those frozen peaches they sell you in the freezer aisle for $5 a bag, that's these exact peaches. Somebody bought them in July at the July price, froze them, and sold them back to you in the winter at the winter price. You can just be that somebody. Number 9. Corn. Corn is 30 cents an ear right now. In some places, it's 10. Buy 20 of them and don't feel silly about it. Shuck them. Boil them 3 minutes, no longer. Then stand the ear up in a big bowl and run a knife straight down the side. The kernels fall right off. Bag it, flatten the bag, freeze it. 20 ears takes you about half an hour of standing at the counter while you're already standing there anyway, and it fills your freezer with corn for the whole winter for about $6. Now compare that. Store frozen corn is $2 or $3 a bag, and it was picked who knows when. And the canned stuff, well, canned corn is corn that's been sitting in a can of water thinking about its life for a year and a half. What comes off your own cob in July is a different vegetable. It's sweeter because corn starts turning its sugar into starch the minute it's picked, which is why the corn you buy at a roadside stand in July tastes like candy, and the corn you buy in a can tastes like a napkin. Number 8. Berries. Same principle, but they spoil faster, so you have to move quicker. Strawberries, blueberries, blackberries are all at their yearly bottom right now. And by Christmas, you're looking at $4 and $5 for a tiny plastic clamshell with about a cup in it. Here's the one thing I want you to get right. Do not wash them before you freeze them. Everybody does it, and everybody regrets it. Wet berries freeze into one solid brick you have to attack with a spoon. Freeze them dry, spread out on a tray, then bag them once they're hard. Wash them when you go to use them. They stay loose. You can grab a handful, and the bag doesn't turn into a hockey puck by October. And blueberries especially. Blueberries freeze better than almost anything on this list. They come out of the freezer in February almost exactly the way they went in. Number 7, green beans and summer squash. Zucchini right now is practically free. People are leaving it on each other's porches like a prank. Green beans are at their yearly low, and yellow squash is right there with them. These two need one extra step, and it's the step everybody skips. So listen to this part. You blanch them, 2 or 3 minutes in boiling water, and then straight into a bowl of ice water, not the sink. Ice water. And here's why. Because if you know why, you'll actually do it. Heat doesn't stop when you take the pot off the stove. That vegetable keeps cooking itself from the inside for a good while after. And there are enzymes in there that keep breaking it down, even in the freezer. The ice water slams the door on all of it. That is the entire difference between a green bean in December and a sad green mush in December. 2 extra minutes and a bowl of ice. Number 6, bell peppers. About $1 a piece right now, red ones included, which is the good news because red peppers in February are $2.50, $3 easy. And peppers are the easiest thing on this whole list because you don't blanch them at all. Cut the top off, pull the seeds out, slice them into strips, bag them, freeze them. Done. 5 minutes for a whole flat of them. They will not come out crisp. I want to be honest with you about that, so don't plan on a salad in January. But for fajitas, chili, soup, a pan of sausage and peppers, anything that's going to get cooked anyway, they're perfect, and nobody at your table will ever know. That bag of frozen pepper strips in the freezer aisle is $4 for exactly what you can put up today for about $1 worth of peppers and 5 minutes of your evening. Number 5, tomatoes. This is it. This is the actual peak. Tomatoes will not be cheaper or better in the next 12 months than they are in the next 3 weeks. And it isn't close. So buy a flat, a whole flat, the kind that looks like too much when you're carrying it to the car, and then you've got 2 ways to go. The long way is you cook them down into sauce and freeze it in jars, which is wonderful and takes an afternoon. The lazy way, which is the one I do most years, is this. Wash them, cut the core out, and throw them into a freezer bag whole. No peeling, no blanching, no nothing. Then when you thaw them out in November, the skins slide right off in your hand like a coat coming off. Nobody tells you that. The freezer does the peeling for you. And think about what that replaces. Jarred pasta sauce is $6, $7 now, and the first ingredient on the label is tomatoes, and everything after that is water, sugar, and a picture of somebody's grandmother, not your grandmother. This week you can buy the actual tomatoes for less than they charge you for the jar of the idea of tomatoes. All right, we're halfway, and before we keep going, I want you to notice what we have actually done so far, because it's not what these videos usually ask of you. We haven't bought a single new product. No gadget, no subscription, no special ingredient, no trick. We have bought the same food we always buy 4 months early. That's the whole thing. You are not stocking up. You are buying July prices and spending them in November. And now I want to be straight with you about something, because I would rather be useful to you than exciting. There are things you should absolutely not stock up on right now, and anybody telling you to buy everything is just making a list. They're not doing the arithmetic. Do not stock up on school lunch food. Peanut butter, bread, crackers, snack stuff, juice boxes, lunch bags, all of it goes on sale in the middle of August for back to school. And it will be cheaper in 3 weeks than it is today. Wait, do not stock up on the grilling business either. Barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard, buns, paper plates, charcoal. All of that gets marked down hard right after Labor Day when the store wants it off the shelf to make room for the fall stuff. Wait on that too. And do not buy a chest freezer in July, if that thought crossed your mind while I was talking. Appliances go on sale around the holidays. Every year. Use the freezer you've got and buy the second one in November when it's a couple $100 less. That's 3 things I just told you not to buy. And I'll keep telling you that. Because the whole point of doing this is knowing when to move and when to sit still. If that's the kind of straight answer you're looking for, go ahead and hit subscribe. I do this every month, and every month the list is different because the calendar keeps moving whether we're paying attention or not. All right, back to it. Number 4, onions and garlic. The new crop just came in and it's cured, which means it's been dried down so the outer skin is papery. That's what lets it keep for months instead of weeks. Right now, onions are under $1 a pound and garlic is at its yearly low. Buy a big bag of each. Keep them somewhere cool, dark, and dry. And I mean dry. Not in a sealed plastic bag, not under the sink, not in a drawer with no air. A basket on a shelf, a paper bag with the top rolled down, a mesh bag hanging up. They need to breathe. And here's the one thing that'll save you more onions than anything else I could tell you today. Do not store them next to your potatoes. Potatoes give off moisture and gas. Onions give off gas of their own, and sitting side by side, they will spoil each other twice as fast. Everybody keeps them in the same bin. Everybody. Separate them today and you'll throw away half as much this winter. And while we're here, if your cooking has been tasting flat and you've been buying seasoning packets to fix it, the answer was an onion the whole time. Taco seasoning is salt, chili powder, and cumin in an envelope for $1.50, and it seasons exactly 1 pound of meat. The jars of those same 3 spices season a year's worth. Number 3, flour, sugar, and everything else that lives in your baking cabinet. Here it is. This is the one that's already in your house, and you've never once thought about the timing on it. Flour, white sugar, brown sugar, chocolate chips, baking soda, baking powder, vanilla, all of it is sitting at a low right now. And starting in August, that whole cabinet quietly turns into seasonal merchandise. Once holiday baking season gets going, those prices climb, and they do not come back down until spring. Chocolate chips are the one to watch. Watch what happens to a bag of chocolate chips in November. And vanilla, real vanilla, is expensive every day of the year, and it's worse in December. So buy your December flour in July. Flour keeps a year in the pantry and longer in the freezer, and if you're worried about bugs, throw the bag in the freezer for 2 days when you get home, and that takes care of it. Brown sugar keeps essentially forever if you keep it sealed, and if it goes hard, a slice of bread in the container overnight brings it right back. And white sugar doesn't expire at all. It's sugar. It's a rock. There is no version of this where you lose money. That whole cabinet, bought this week instead of the week you actually need it, runs you somewhere around 1/3 less. On a cabinet's worth of baking supplies, that's real money, and it's money you spend anyway, just later, at a worse price. Number 2, the jars, the lids, and the freezer bags. I know, it's not food. Stay with me, because this is the one people learn the hard way, and I don't want it to be you. Canning lids and freezer bags don't go up in August. They disappear. The entire country decides to put up tomatoes in the same 3 weeks. The shelf goes empty, and whatever's left costs whatever they feel like charging for it. I have watched people drive to 4 stores looking for a box of lids in September. I've been one of them. And think about what that means for everything I just told you. If you're going to do any of the 9 things on this list, you need somewhere to put it. The bag is not the afterthought. The bag is the whole plan. Lids don't spoil, bags don't expire, and this is the cheap little nothing item that decides whether all of this actually happens or whether your flat of peaches sits on the counter until it doesn't. Buy them now. Buy more than you think. It's $8, and it's the difference between a freezer full of July and a story you tell about the summer you meant to. And number 1, butter. That's it. Butter. I told you it was boring. Here's why it's number 1, and here's the arithmetic. Butter on a decent sale right now runs you about $3 a pound. In November, in the middle of holiday baking season, that same pound is $5, sometimes $6. It's the most predictable price climb in the entire store. It happens every single year without fail, and it happens to a thing that nearly every house buys every single week. And butter freezes. Not for a couple weeks, for a year. In its own wrapper, thrown in a freezer bag, sitting in the door, and it comes out exactly the way it went in. Butter does not know what month it is once it's frozen. So, run it with me. Say your house goes through a pound a week, which is not a lot with kids in the house. Buy 20 pounds this week at $3. That's $60. And yes, that's a strange-looking cart. And yes, the person at the register will say something. Buying those same 20 pounds across October and November costs you $100, $110. You just made $40 or $50 standing in a dairy aisle in July, doing absolutely nothing but noticing the calendar. And here's the other half of it, what butter replaces while it's sitting there in your freezer. The spray oils, the tub spreads, half the sauces in a jar, a little butter, a little flour, some milk, and that's a white sauce. And a white sauce is the base of half the creamed soups they sell you in a can. Cream of mushroom soup is a white sauce with mushrooms in it. That's all it ever was. Now you know. So that's the 10. Stone fruit, corn, berries, green beans and squash, peppers, tomatoes, onions and garlic, the baking cabinet, the jars and bags, and butter. Now let's talk plainly for a minute about why your cart doesn't already look like this. Because it isn't an accident and it isn't your fault. Everything I just listed has one thing in common. It's a plain ingredient at the exact moment it's abundant, and abundance is thin margins. There's no money in a peach in July. There's no advertising campaign for a bag of onions. The money shows up later, in February, when that same peach is scarce and expensive and packaged, or when it's been cooked and sweetened and put in a plastic cup with a bright label on it. That's the whole game. The store isn't lying to you. It just doesn't volunteer. It shows you the sale sign in July, and it says nothing at all in November, and it's counting on the fact that nobody keeps a receipt long enough to compare. You're not supposed to remember what butter cost 4 months ago. You're supposed to be tired on a Tuesday. They are counting on that, and it works, and it's been working on all of us for years. So here's what I want you to do, not all 10. I mean that seriously. People try to do all 10, they burn a whole Saturday, they wear themselves out, and next July, they don't do a single one of them. That's how good intentions die. Pick one. Pick the easiest one for you, and honestly, that's probably the butter because it requires nothing from you but putting it in the freezer and walking away. Then next week, if it felt fine, pick one more. Do one, just one. See what the receipt says. And tell me down in the comments, what's the one thing you always buy in season and put up for later? And what's the one you tried once, it came out terrible, and you never did it again? Because I've got a couple of those, and I'm not too proud to say so. I learn more out of that comment section than anybody realizes. Next time, I'm taking the tomatoes from number 5 and showing you exactly how I turn one flat of them into a winter's worth of sauce in a single afternoon. No canning, no special equipment, nothing you don't already own. People keep asking for it. It's easier than you think. It always is. I'll see you then. then.